Limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are convictions and assumptions that we carry within ourselves, which affect our perception of our own capabilities and the world around us. They can arise from past negative experiences, upbringing, sociocultural environment, and other factors. For instance, we might believe that we are not smart or talented enough to achieve a certain goal. These beliefs limit our ability to learn and grow, impacting our well-being and happiness levels. They shape our actions and interactions with others, becoming part of our thinking and behavioral responses. Working on changing limiting beliefs may include recognizing their presence, analyzing their origins, and gradually forming more positive and supportive convictions. This can help expand the boundaries of our possibilities and improve the quality of life. Black and white thinking. Black and white thinking, also known as dichotomous thinking, is a cognitive distortion where people perceive events or personalities exclusively in terms of good or bad, without considering intermediate options. This way of thinking can lead to extreme judgments and inflexibility in decision-making, as the person does not see or acknowledge the shades and nuances of situations. Black and white thinking often originates in childhood when a child encounters simple categories and clear rules, and it can carry over this model to the perception of more complex aspects of life. Such a way of thinking can serve as a defense against uncertainty and ambivalence, which cause anxiety. However, it can also intensify feelings of anxiety and stress as the person cannot see the gray area and adapt to changes. Overcoming black and white thinking involves cognitive behavioral therapy and mindfulness practices that help identify and change distorted thoughts. Anchoring effect. The anchoring effect, also known as the heuristic of anchoring and adjustment, is a cognitive bias where people tend to evaluate unknown values based on initially presented numbers or information. This effect occurs even if the initial numbers are significantly exaggerated and the person is aware of the anchor. In economics and marketing, the anchoring effect is used to shape the perception of the value of goods and services. For example, stores may set a high initial price for a product and then offer a discount, creating the illusion of significant savings. This can encourage consumers to make a purchase, as they are influenced by the initial anchor price. However, improper use of the anchoring effect can raise doubts about pricing fairness and damage customer trust. Understanding this effect helps consumers make more informed purchases and protect themselves from manipulation. Confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is a cognitive distortion where people tend to search for, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms their preconceived views or hypotheses. This can lead to the reinforcement of stereotypes and prejudices, as well as conflicts between individuals. Those affected by this bias often reject information that contradicts their beliefs, even if it could be useful or correct. This distortion can limit the ability to innovate and change, as people do not consider information that could alter their perspective. Overcoming confirmation bias requires self-criticism and a willingness to reevaluate one's views in light of new information. Developing critical thinking and seeking information from various sources representing different viewpoints helps to obtain a more complete picture and avoid one-sided confirmation. Dunning-Kruger Effect. The Dunning-Kruger Effect is a cognitive distortion where individuals with low competence in a particular area overestimate their abilities. They tend to make erroneous conclusions and poor decisions, not recognizing their mistakes due to a lack of knowledge. This effect can lead to less competent individuals having a higher opinion of their abilities than more competent individuals. Conversely, highly skilled individuals may underestimate their abilities and suffer from insufficient confidence. To overcome this distortion, it is helpful to strive for continuous learning and self-improvement, as well as to develop critical thinking. It is also important to listen to feedback and constructive criticism to gain a more realistic view of one's abilities. Delayed gratification effect. The delayed gratification effect, also known as the preference for immediate rewards, refers to the tendency to choose a smaller but immediate reward over a larger but delayed one. This phenomenon is widely studied in behavioral economics and psychology as it affects decision-making in finance, health, and everyday life. People often prefer to receive here and now, even if it leads to the loss of greater benefits in the future. This distortion may be related to the undervaluation of future rewards or the overvaluation of immediate ones. To overcome this effect, it is recommended to develop self-control and long-term planning. Understanding this effect helps in forming a more responsible attitude towards finances, health, and personal growth. Fear of loss. Fear of loss is a psychological state that arises when we fear losing something important to us, whether it be personal relationships, material possessions, or status. This fear can be so strong that it begins to control our actions and decisions, causing us to avoid risks and new opportunities. The fear of loss often intensifies during periods of uncertainty and can lead to feelings of anxiety and panic. It can limit our ability to see positive outcomes as we focus on potential threats and losses. To overcome the fear of loss, it is helpful to work on awareness and acceptance of reality, as well as developing the ability to see opportunities in every situation. Fading effect. The fading effect, or forgetting, is a psychological process in which the intensity of emotions associated with certain events decreases over time. This phenomenon is particularly noticeable in memories of negative events, which may seem less painful or significant as time passes. Research shows that negative emotions fade faster than positive ones, contradicting the intuitive assumption that negatives should be remembered longer to avoid similar situations in the future. The fading effect can help people continue to live and act despite the mistakes and emotional pain they have experienced. However, it can also lead to the repetition of mistakes if a person forgets the negative consequences of their actions. Understanding this effect is important for developing the ability to learn from one's mistakes and maintain emotional well-being. Groupthink. Groupthink is a psychological phenomenon that occurs in a group of people when the desire for conformity and social harmony leads to incorrect or irrational decision-making. Group members try to avoid conflicts and achieve unity without conducting a proper critical evaluation of alternative views. This can lead to the group making decisions that individual members would not support under individual circumstances. Groupthink can have serious consequences, including historical mistakes and failures. To prevent this effect, it is important to encourage the open expression of different opinions and critical thinking within the group. Self-serving effect. The self-serving effect in psychology refers to the tendency of people to attribute successes to themselves and failures to external circumstances. This distortion can lead to an overestimation of one's own achievements and an underestimation of the contributions of others, or random factors. People susceptible to this effect may have difficulty acknowledging their own mistakes and learning from them. This can limit personal growth and development, as the person does not see the full picture of their actions and their consequences. To overcome the self-serving bias, it is helpful to develop self-criticism and the ability to accept constructive criticism. Optimism effect. The optimism effect is the tendency of people to overestimate the likelihood of positive events and underestimate the likelihood of negative ones. Optimists often see the world in brighter colors, which can contribute to a higher level of life activity and even longevity. They cope better with making important decisions, exhibit a more creative approach, and adapt more quickly to new circumstances. However, too strong optimism can lead to an underestimation of risks and potential problems. Reasonable optimism combines positive attitudes with realism in assessments and a critical approach, which helps achieve balance. Understanding and managing the optimism bias can lead to a more balanced and productive approach to life. Confirmation effect. The confirmation effect is a cognitive distortion where people tend to search for, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms their existing beliefs or hypotheses. This can lead to the reinforcement of prejudices and beliefs, even in the face of contradicting evidence. The confirmation bias is stronger regarding emotionally significant issues and deeply rooted beliefs. People also tend to interpret ambiguous evidence in a way that supports their point of view. This distortion can lead to poor decisions in political and organizational contexts, as it affects a person's confidence in their judgments. Understanding this effect helps people be more critical of information and open to different perspectives. Yes. I'm the guy from the video. Thank you very much for watching. I will be glad if you like and leave a comment on what topic you want to talk about in the next video. Also, don't forget to watch our other videos. See you again!